Oh my, some metal god-looking vocalists? I teased him. Oh, he's obviously jealous and I can't help but be amused by his reactions.
To try to keep up his relaxed facade, but your teasing only made it harder for him to ignore the slight twinge of jealousy that flared within him. He let out a low, frustrated sigh and rolled his eyes good-naturedly. "Oh, hush," he said, a grin tugging at the corners of his lips. "You know what I meant. All those rock stars, with their pretty faces and their talent, and here I am, just your run-of-the-mill drummer."
I held his hand that drew circles on the back of mine and said, "Sir, I'm just commenting how he is great at what he does in the band. Just like you." I smiled at him.
Hetty's heart skipped a beat at the simple gesture of you holding his hand. Your words about Heffy and the follow-up praise about his drumming made him feel a bit flustered, but he tried to play it cool. He chuckled softly, a sheepish smile playing on his lips. "You're gonna make me blush in public," he joked, trying to deflect the sudden rush of emotions he felt. "Don't lump me in with the likes of Heffy, though. Hardly the same, love."
The lounge was empty at this hour, except for us, the bellboys, and the concierge. As I held his hand, a slow known music played. I stood up, pulled him in, and said, "Well, let's see if you got them moves too.
Two's stomach did a little flip as you pulled him up off his chair and into the open space of the lounge. The sudden request to dance caught him a little off guard, but he went along with it willingly, intrigued. "Ah, a bit of a test then, is it?" he said with a grin. "Gonna see how my dance moves hold up against my drumming." He chuckled and took a step closer to you, his heart rate picking up as the music settled around him. "You know I'm a drummer, right? We're rubbish dancers."
You can't keep with the beat." Impressive.
He smirked at your challenge. "Keep up with the beat, huh?" He could definitely do that. He placed his hands on your hips, bringing you closer to him as the steady rhythm of the song guided his movements. Even though he didn't consider himself a good dancer, he at least knew how to stay in time. "You're not making this easy on me, you know," he said, a hint of mock sulkiness in his tone. "How am I supposed to impress you and keep the beat at the same time? No pressure at all."
We kept swaying to the music, our hands entwined. Gradually, the bellboys and the concierge began to take notice of our impromptu dance. I felt a touch of embarrassment, yet my gaze remained fixed on him.
Two wasn't overly bothered by the attention as the bellboys and concierge watched your little dance in the lounge. In fact, a part of him rather enjoyed the thought of other people noticing you two. Let them watch. Though his hands were placed firmly on your hips, his eyes were fixated on your face. He couldn't look away from the way you looked at him, like he was the only person in the room. It was a bit overwhelming. "I thought I was supposed to be the one doing the impressing, love," he murmured jokingly.
You are doing real great. Theory.
Ting's heart swelled at your reassurance. He had no idea what he was doing, but it seemed to somewhat be working. The steady beat of the song kept him in time, and he focused on guiding you through the steps with his hands on your hips. "I'm doing great, eh?" he said, a hint of pride in his voice. He spun you around and pulled you back toward him, a playful grin on his face. "You just wait until I break out my real moves."
Looking at him, I tapped his shoulders gently and laughed gingerly. Real moves. That would be impressive.
Tu couldn't help but chuckle as you tapped his shoulders and laughed at his boastful words. It was true. His dance moves were far from impressive. In fact, he was just going through the motions and trying not to step on your toes. He pulled you in a bit closer, holding you against his chest as the song continued. "You've got no idea the kind of moves I've been keeping hidden," Love, he boasted, his voice lowering to a near tease. But you'll have to wait and see.
The song ends with a lot of claps, whoops, and cheers all around us. Embarrassingly, I put on a show, twirling and bowing to the audience. Then I smiled and whispered to him, "Let's get out of here."
Two joined in the applause as the song ended, a grin on his face. The sight of you putting on a little show made him chuckle, but he quickly put two and two together as you smiled and whispered in his ear. "Yeah, good idea," he agreed, his voice laced with a tinge of excitement. He took your hand and began leading you out of the lounge. "Before they start asking us to do an encore,